5.7. Refer to the extract of the independent auditor's report under information 6. Explain in your own words why it is necessary for the independent auditors to mention internal controls under the section on the director's responsibility. So let's go to 6. Director's report of the independent auditor. We have audited the annual financial statement of Balco Limited as set out on pages 52 to 64. And now we have this important heading, Director's responsibility for the financial statements. The company's directors are responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with international financial reporting standards and the requirements of the Companies Act of South Africa. And for such internal control as the directors determine is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Well, why it is the director's responsibility is because ultimately directors run the company, so therefore they have to set up a system of internal controls to prevent fraud or error of occurring, and to ensure with reasonable degree that representative financial statements are drawn up. So the next section relating to the auditor's report is under the section on independent auditor's responsibility. They mention something about ethical requirements. Give a practical example of this. In other words, ethical requirements. So the second paragraph is the independent auditor's responsibility. We have to focus on ethical requirements. Our responsibility is to express an opinion on the financial statement based on our audit. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Those standards require that we comply with ethical requirements and plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. So a practical example of ethics is conflict of interest. An auditor cannot also be a shareholder because audit is supposed to be independent and objective. So therefore, auditor will have a conflict of interest if the auditor is also a shareholder. Similarly, also if the auditor would supply other services to the company, then again it will be a conflict of interest, which is unethical. So let's see what's the third section relating to the auditing reports. Is their final opinion good or not? Explain. Okay, so let's see what is their final opinion. In our opinion, the annual financial statements presents fairly in all material respects the financial position of Balco Limited as at 31 August 2013 and his financial performance and cash flow for the 52 weeks then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards and the requirements of the Company Act of South Africa. So yes, it seems like a good report. There no problem or issue is mentioned. Therefore, it is an unqualified report. If one or two problems were mentioned, it would have been a qualified one. So this is an unqualified audit report as no problems or issues are raised. Okay, then the final section relating to the audit report. Why is it necessary for the independent auditor to have the qualification CASA behind his name, Chartered Accountant South Africa? Well, the qualification is an indication that the auditor has the necessary training and are also up to date in terms of knowledge with the latest audit practices and legislation relating to audits. Also, it means the auditor is under the Code of Conduct of SAICA, the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, and disciplinary action can be taken against the auditor if he doesn't follow the Code of Conduct of SAICA.